All right, Wolfpack Nation, we are back for part 2, y'all, of our interview here with Debbie Antonelli, again, ESPN analyst, color commentator, former NC State women's basketball shooting guard. And first of all, Coach, I do want to, ask a little bit sorry, I say Coach. Sorry, Debbie. Sorry. I do want to ask a little bit here, first and foremost, that, we talked a little bit about how you were so proud of Kevin and Wes for what they were able to accomplish last season. Talk to me about that. I feel like that had to have been a really exciting, but just a crazy time to think of how men and women were both in the Final Four at the exact same time. That's insane.
It is insane. It's total insanity. For the guys, I work for CBS on the first and second round of the men's tournament. So the NC State men were playing simultaneous to my games in Omaha. And so I couldn't watch the games, but right. I was getting updates because studio's cutting in, and I was working with Tom McCarthy and Avery Johnson, and they knew that I was trying to keep a second eye on, the scores and watch the game. It was just so exciting to think about when you know Kevin personally and you know how hard he works and what he cares about for his team, and to watch them experience it at that level. First of all, the run in the ACC tournament. Everybody will remember where they were when, because that's just one of those moments that you just gain from sport that will always invigorate your soul, no matter where you are or where you go in life. You'll remember that. But for the women, I was with them in Portland in the Western Regional. I was working simultaneously to ESPN, and then when I didn't have the ESPN games, I had the Westwood One games. So it just so happened that I had NC State on the Westwood One on the radio call. So I was there watching their march through to the Final Four. And you have to keep it in check. Of course we're a fan and we want to see them do well. And it is emotional because you could see the emotion on the players, on the fans, on the staff. You just have to just keep it together. But immensely proud and so happy for them. That's the first thing that goes out is Wes. He's been knocking on the door. He's been so close, had some bad breaks in the NCAA tournament with seeding. He just hadn't, this was a really a great opportunity for them to show the whole place, because we really should have been in the Final Four the year before that, or 2 years before that. So This is not just a one-time wonder for the women. This got some sustainability and staying power.
And before we get going back into this amazing interview, we want to take a quick second and tell you about Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 different offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their website at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and talking about this team specifically, I'm definitely not by any means the basketball expert you are for sure, but just by looking at it on paper, is it a far stretch to say that this has got to be on paper one of the most talented, most, highest ceiling potential teams that state women's basketball has had in quite some time?
Well, the Lisa Cunane years and that run with those kids, they were pretty good too.
Sure.
But no one's had the Final Four experience coming back except for one other time in NC State history, right? So having this number of players coming back off of that experience, knowing how hard it is to get there, them staying connected and together through the summer. And you can't win unless you have great guard play. And Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers weren't on anybody's radar last year at the beginning of the season. Neither was NC State, but now they'll be players that will have to deal with the celebrity and the attention of the focus being on them, whereas they were underdogs most of the year. The shift mentally is going to change, and that takes some time to adjust to. That's not an easy shift. I know those kids, so I know how hard they worked in the offseason to get themselves ready, and that's a good recipe and should make NC State fans feel somewhat I don't want to say at ease, but there should be some measure of comfortability there because you know how hard they work to get back. So I know and Madison Hayes and Zoe Brooks. And for River Baldwin to do what she did last year was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed at River and what she was able to accomplish for that team and how valuable her role was. Mimi Collins, they're going to miss those players, but I'm sure Wes, with his 4 out, 1 in, Sanaya Rivers' versatility, who can play 1 through 4, really probably 1 through 5. I just think there's going to be a lot of really good stuff that they're going to have an opportunity to move forward on, and it's going to be great. It's going to really be great.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest question, which I had multiple people that wanted me to ask you this, is who do you think is going to be the X factor on this team?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do everything collectively by committee. I don't think there's one person. I mean, Isaiah James has times where she stands out. Sanaya Rivers stands out as a two-way, multiple defensive player who could be a defensive player of the year candidate. I think the new players adjusting to the backcourt of NC State, the front court players collectively being able to rebound and to provide that 4 out, 1 in presence that Wes likes to play with. Some rim protection, but really NC State's never been that big of a shot blocking team. They're more of a rotation and help side defensive team with their quickness and their length. I think it's going to be exciting. I know Reynolds Coliseum is going to be ready for the roof to blow off because there's a lot to be excited about with this team coming back. ESPN's early poll has them in the preseason top 10 at number 9. It's just remarkable for this group of kids to go from not being ranked, not being considered, picked to finish 8th in the league, and then to go to the Final Four. It's very similar to what Kevin, I'm sure, is experiencing with his team.
Yeah. I mean, that last year was the only 7th time in the history of women's basketball where a team was unranked preseason, but then went on to go to the Final Four. So, just kind of even add on to that as well. But, looking at this team, for sure, I think that the biggest offseason move that really stood out, was getting Caitlin Weimar from Boston University, a player that averaged 18 points and over 10.5 rebounds a game. And I think that from listening to, a lot of other people talk, I think that one of the biggest reasons for this move was really, playing South Carolina in the Final Four and just a realization that, if we're going to compete with that South Carolina, with that UConn, that, having that Elisa Cunane level kind of player that can compete, one-on-one with a, Cardoso, whoever it may be, is a huge key for sure. So, I mean, do you feel like that's one of the reasons why that investment was made in a player like Caitlin?
You have to have in Wes's system somebody that you can throw it on the block that can either score on a single or demand a double and be able to move the ball around the perimeter. I do expect NC State to be a better 3-point shooting team next year. I know they were a decent 3-point shooting team. I think they'll be better. And when you have the size that you have inside with the skill set, you hope the pace of play is not a long adjustment for her because there is a difference between playing in the Patriot League and playing in the ACC. I haven't been to practice myself to see, but I'm sure she runs the floor hard, and I know she's skilled or Wes wouldn't have her on the block. But it's going to be if she can shoot the 3 and if she has that pick and pop capability, that makes it even better. When Kayla Jones was running the 4 for NC State around Elisa Cunane, we had that low post play, but we had that 4 player that could pick and pop, could make decisions, not just a stretch 4. I called Kayla was the ultimate hybrid because she was like a guard, but like a post, and she could do a little bit of everything, and she could make decisions on top of the floor. So it's not just catch it and reverse it. She could catch it on the top of the floor and read, make a choice, playing ball screen action, make decisions with the ball. And if we have somebody that can do that, and I see Sanaya playing many roles for Wes this year, not just running the point, I think it's going to be really fun to watch and watch it evolve. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sanaya Rivers, in my opinion, just the eye, look at from the eyes, Sanaya Rivers is by far one of the most talented, I think, players that we've seen. But just I feel like we haven't necessarily seen her in true form yet. That a lot of it comes with consistency as well. Like, you've seen games where she's gone off, but then you've seen games where she's gone really cold. For a player like Sanaya, how would you kind of approach her in terms of taking that next step this year where, building some of that consistency and seeing that great Sanaya Rivers we've seen game in and game out. We want to interrupt this interview real quick to tell you about our amazing sponsor, Coney Gold Barbecue Sauce, y'all. With all of their amazing barbecue sauces and rubs, y'all, go check out their website, ConeyGoldBarbecueSauce.com. Make sure to use the code Tuffy Talk to get 15% off your entire order, y'all. And if your order is over $99, that shipping is free. Go get you some.
Well, first of all, Sanaya absolutely loves to play, and she loves NC State, and she loves her teammates. So that right there is a great leadership component when you're watching her, because when you know those things about her and then you watch her joy on the floor, you can see it. She knows she needs to work on her perimeter game. She needs to be able to shoot it better. People go under ball screen action with her. She needs to make them be able to go over the top. If they're going to go under, she's got to be able to make choices coming downhill, and she's doing that. You know, she was thrust into the point guard spot last year, and I thought she did remarkably well. And it was a really good coaching move to keep her there, because you gave Isaiah James and Madison Hayes some freedom on the perimeter to do some things that they do well. So, I mean, it's not understated the job that Wes did getting that team there. I mean, it's a remarkable job he and his staff did. And, you know, like I said, it's going to be a shift mentally, and I think they'll handle it. I haven't seen them practice, but I'm looking forward to it. And I think Sanaya is a player that you can put anywhere on the court and she can be successful. I just had Nafisa Collier in the WNBA first round series against Phoenix. 6'1", highly athletic, runs the floor hard, can play any position. I think that's what I see for Sanaya Rivers.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and you know, the one quick question to wrap up. You'd mentioned about Wes Moore and the greatness that he's brought to NC State. You know, I know that, you know, with Wes Moore, it is a special thing, the fact that he was a part of, you know, Kay Yow's coach staff at one point, for sure. So having that legacy and that, you know, that's beyond just a job. It's a, you know, like, you know, it goes beyond that, you know, even to the heart as well. You know, so I know that there's going to be talks for sure, you know, whenever Coach Moore does decide to hang it up in terms of where does he rank all time. And obviously knowing him, he's never going to even just entertain the idea of him being the greatest coach to ever come to the NC State women's basketball program, for sure. But I mean, if he's able to eclipse and accomplish the ceiling that we see potentially for him this year, which is getting a national championship, I mean, at that point, having, you know, five of the last 6 years going to Sweet 16s, going to, you know, program's second ever Final Four, and if he can accomplish that goal of winning a national championship, I mean, would the stats just speak for themselves in terms of, you know, being the greatest to ever come to NC State?
Well, Wes is so gracious and never forgets where he came from, and that's a real endearing quality about Wes. And you know, I always say he's, oh, golly shucks, oh, gee whiz, you know, kind of guy. But when you know him, he is a harsh competitor, right? Yes. He wants to win, and he understands the preparation that it takes to win. And so I think his gentlemanly manner around the program, especially in regards to Kay and Coach Al and what her legacy is, he has the ultimate respect, and he always has. And as a former player, you know, we're all grateful for that, because Wes has kept the love bus rolling, if you will. You know, if it doesn't matter what decade you played in, or who, you know, like we all played for Kay, or we played for Wes or Kelly now, right? Because there hasn't been that many. So that's the one unique thing about our program is, you know, there's players that are older than me that know all the players on the team and come to the games and come to the events, and we celebrate as a family, which we always do. It's a really fun time when we all get together. You know, you tell the same stories you used to tell, all the stuff you thought you got in trouble with and got away with, or all the things you did on Hillsborough Street before Hillsborough Street looked like it does now. You know, just different fun stuff. But I think Wes's record will speak for itself. He certainly is. When you look at the game and you go back in the history of the game, I think he's top 5 active wins. And that is an impressive number, because he's over 800. He might be getting close to 900. I'm not really sure. He's got a lot of wins, though.
Absolutely. And the last question before I let you go, Debbie, as well, this is more something I wanted to ask for your confirmation, but it's still a play that just stands out to me in my head, even though it's happened so long ago now. And obviously things worked out. We made it to a Final Four since then. But the game at Virginia Tech, last play, the pass in Elizabeth Kitley, Illegal screen, yes or no?
No.
No.
I'm going to go no.
Right.
I thought it was an incredible pass.
It was a good pass.
Obviously, there were some mistakes that were made. If you bring this up, and I know every Wolfpack fan is just shaking their head right now, and poor Wes, if he hears this, he won't sleep for another week. The poor guy sweated that about, do you have somebody on the ball? Do you not? Kitley, the pass was perfect. They executed it well. NC State didn't execute. So, no, I'll leave it at that.
All right. Fair enough. No, absolutely. Well, first of all, Debbie, thank you so much again for your time. Greatly appreciate it for sure. Again, I mean, I know for all of our viewers and listeners, we're so excited about this team for sure. And excited to have you there for sure, calling some of these games as well. And again, for all of our viewers, listeners, please go make sure to give Debbie a follow on Twitter at just her name, at Debbie Antonelli. Make sure to go check out her website as well. And then again, if you want to learn more about the Elevate program, which we talked about in part 1, make sure to go in the link in the description down below to click that link and check it out. And, or if you want as well, just check it out online. Just look up Elevate NC State and you'll find it as well. But Debbie, any final words for our viewers and listeners?
No, I just want to thank you for your time. Thank you for how you represent NC State and doing this podcast and sharing the good stories around our program and around our university. I think they're so important. We have such a special place, and I'm just so proud of everything that NC State represents and stands for. I'm disappointed Chancellor Woodson's going out. I have to say that. I hate that he's going to retire. He's such a great gentleman, and he did select me for commencement back in December, which I did deliver, which is something I never thought I would do either. So NC State means so much to me. It's such a great launching pad for everything I've been able to do, and I just want to keep giving back.
That's amazing. Well, thank you all so much again for tuning in. Really hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't already, make sure again to subscribe to this channel, but also to go check out Debbie's as well. Check out her YouTube channel as well and go subscribe there as well. Hit that notification bell for both of us and leave a like button as well. Would really appreciate that as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all soon, and go Pack, y'all.